All right, we're going. All right, let's do this. So we just covered the holidays and how we all navigate the holiday season here at Mt Bachelor, being avid skiers and snowboarders. And after the holidays end, things start mellowing out a little bit for the time being, and we all start focusing on summit and getting the top of the mountain and getting those pow days. And a lot of us, ideally, down the backside to Northwest. I know a lot of us like that. That's my personal favorite. We always, I think a lot of us probably, where are we going to go? Should we go do this? Should we go do that? And we sit there the whole time going up, and then we get there, and the backside we just right down the back. That's what I usually do.
Straight down the back.
Pretty much every time. We all have this conversation.
An incredible season for the backside.
Oh my God.
I'm just not that by far one of the best seasons I've ever had for backside.
I probably had my best backside round of my life this season.
Me too.
A couple of them, honestly.
I did as well. I think we all did.
Several untouched.
So I think it's a good time to talk about the summit lift, summit process, everything that goes into riding the top of the volcano that we ride, that we're so lucky to ride. That's a 360-degree mountain that when that summit lifts open, the world is your oyster. You could go any direction you want. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer and a little more effort to get back to a lift, but regardless, you can ride any direction you want, and that's very special. And I believe Bachelor was one of the first mountains to be a total like a 360 mountain. I think there's one or two other, only another
mountain.
Very
unique thing.
Yeah.
We have 5 lifts that are over a mile long.
Well, there's a good interesting tidbit.
Wow. Fun facts on the chairlift.
There you go.
I was listening to a podcast episode on my last drive that was, they were interviewing, I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy that makes all of the ski maps.
I have his book inside the house.
Yeah,
it's
so
great. James Nahu.
They were interviewing him and talking about the process of mapping and what all goes into that. And there was just a spot where they're like, "Oh, so what is the most difficult or most obnoxious resort that you've ever had to map?" And he's like, "Oh, Mt Bachelor. It's terrible."
Classic.
It's like the
Because it's a 360.
He's like trying to create a map in the way that he does it.
It's not like different canyons and valleys that you can make sections of.
Makes it approachable for a viewer to access the 360-degree mountain. He said it was an absolute nightmare.
They did a really good job
you had looked at some of those on the wall, those ski maps. Those are his.
Okay.
And I have the one in Mt Bachelor on the wall, and it's so useful when people come and I'm like, that maybe don't know Mt Bachelor. I'm like, look here, and then to use that 360 mountain and his map and his artwork to really orient people to the mountain. It's very, very functional and useful.
It gives and gives and gives. A lot of people. So the Bill Healy pointing. You know why he's pointing, right?
No.
Okay, so when they were getting the permit in the first place, they said, "Do you want Mt Bachelor to Timberline and Tumalo, or do you want Mt Bachelor all the way to the top?" And Bill Healy said, "I want Mt Bachelor all the way to the top, baby." Which is great, too, because anybody who's a backcountry skier, it's really nice we have Tumalo, because we have a lot of backcountry skiing here, but it's snowmobile accessible, and Tumalo is a good one that you can access.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And Bill Healy, that's the original founder of Mt Bachelor. I believe he had other partners, but he was the guy.
One of 3, and he's the guy who was one of the 10th Mountain Division guys.
Yep, right.
Yeah.
Military guy.
Most ski resorts were founded in the United States from those 10th Mountain guys. At that
Badass.
Point.
Yeah.
Let's put a chairlift to the top.
Yeah, let's
know,
take a chair and fly it on a cord, just like we drag Timberline Mountain.
When do we know? When did Bachelor get Summit? Early 80s, late 70s.
It was early 80s.
Yeah,
Early 80s?
I think it was 82.
82 or 83.
Yeah.
No, actually, I've read this before. It was 80. I remember noting it was 83, which is a big El Nino year.
Yeah.
It was a really big year, and it was 83 that we got the Summit lift.
Is that why it has that ridiculous ramp?
And it used to have these chairs that were these green plastic slats that were under your bum and your back. Oh, man. Talk about rhyme ice.
But I think if we're going to talk about Summit this season, we have to start it by talking about Raymundo getting first chair on Summit.
Yes. A round of applause.
Thank you.
The first chair on Summit for the year.
I have to wonder, how long did you wait in that lift line?
Man, it had to have been at least an hour, right?
Didn't you pick
I think it was a couple.
Oh yeah, there's that moment where you cross over around Epic Corner and it shows you Bachelor, and your eyes get really big, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be Summit, and you just have to decide where you're gonna park for the best angle to get to the
moment to get there. Yeah,
and you're definitely in line at 7. I would say 7:45.
Yeah,
7:50. And you're just sitting at sunrise, just staring at the top.
When I
with
heard
big
there was
eyes.
a lot of like random stuff going on at like Sunrise Lift Line too. There was some scuffles and people getting blamed for things that they didn't do and stuff.
I was there that day. I remember that.
day. Yeah. And those are funny.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely not one of those humans that are gonna cause a ruckus.
But there was some dude causing a ruckus.
Being a giant human being, they're like, "Hey, you." You're like, "I didn't do nothing."
Speaking of starting a ruckus, the one thing Ray didn't do was be the fifth person on a chairlift to summit this year.
Yes, fair point. We have to touch upon that.
Nice.
What she's referencing is at one point this year, things get hectic, and as we know, Summit is a quad, and at some point it became a quint. I don't know.
Everyone thought it was the new Skyliner for some reason, you know?
There was a violin involved, and there was just an orchestra.
But actually, I think Gabe, who's here, was on that chair, wasn't he? Gabe, and was it Rick? Was Rick on the chair? He was second chair. So yeah, that actually a gentleman got on a quad to be the fifth person on that quad and rode sitting on people's laps all the way to the top of the mountain.
What an intense ride.
That sounds mildly terrifying, honestly.
Terrifying, and some people were very reserved in their response to this gentleman deciding. Like they, I don't know, very mature response. Like if somebody was a little bit less mature, the gentleman might not have made it to the top of the mountain.
Impressive.
Yeah, Gabe, you said you were on that chair? Do you want to come and share the
Yeah,
mic with me?
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, do you
Tell us about your
Actually,
experience.
Gabe,
there.
jump over here, Gabe.
Do you
Jump
think
in my
you're the
spot.
only person to ever get a lap dance on Summit Chair?
I actually didn't get the lap dance. Who was that? No.
Joel.
It was Joel. Thank you. It was Joel.
And he was not.
man.
So how did that go down from your perspective?
Well, I can't
Shockingly,
remember. It was
probably.
Joel on the end, and my buddy Jason Zulu, who is from North Carolina, had just showed up. We waited forever for Summit, and I guess so you guys know how it goes. It's a Braveheart start.
Wonderful starts.
That's the way it's been forever, and now it's over.
Forever.
It's
it was
over
always
now.
like that.
Yeah.
People blowing ACLs.
Yeah,
Michelle, tell us.
lost ACL in the lift line.
Sucks
Let's
so
go.
bad, dude. It sucks so bad.
That
Gnarly.
was not good.
Yeah, so the Braveheart start. If you know how to work those things, nothing ever happens to you. You can just
You're a champion.
slip through the cracks.
Right?
And so what happened is that dude, he was talking wild before the whole thing started. If anyone was down there, he was talking wild. Anyway, he's telling everybody he's going to beat the whole crowd up there. Look out.
He didn't.
No, well, I had the shortcut. I was far right in the fast track line.
There you go.
Nice, Jay,
Summit
for
doesn't
fast
have it.
track.
Yeah.
Way to go,
Yeah.
bro. I
If
did
you're
fast track
top
one time this
4,
year.
they usually don't say nothing to you about
That
that.
was good.
Yeah.
That's the way fast track's supposed to be.
Yeah. So if you get in the fast track, and then not too many other people are fast trackers, then you're good. But if there's like 6 fast trackers behind you, you're done. You're out of there.
yeah.
So anyway, I was fast tracking over here, and this guy could just hear him, and I shortcut him. I got all the way up to the top, and then I got to turn around and watch the race.
Which is always fun.
Yeah, I was
Which
like,
is the
okay,
best part
I
of
missed
it.
the next chair, so I was like, all right, let's see what's going on over here. And then Zulu comes up, other dude comes up, and then Joel comes up, and then that dude comes from around Joel and sits on their lap.
Wow.
So he intentionally,
It
it
was
wasn't like a
Zulu.
mishap.
Like, he knew what was
he
going
didn't
on.
like mistakenly get on there.
No, he did it intentionally.
This is like in
He was
Summit
so
Hut, he like
crushed.
circumvented the metal gates.
This guy was so crushed that he didn't get first chair. That he did it anyway. Like, he was way back, and he was so hurt. He had to just jump on anyway. I'm surprised he didn't get pushed off. I think
Was
so.
there
He
any,
was
like-
sitting on Joel's lap. Then I believe somehow he squiggled his little butt right between those two. Dude I was sitting beside, who I'll not name his name, he beat him up. Oh yeah, that dude got beat up on the chair. I was like, and eventually we were like, oh God, is he gonna push him off?
Right.
Was there Was there like anything when you got to the top? Did like the lifty at the bottom call it in, and anyone get called out of the top? Did ski patrol
got to
set
the top, I was like,
what happened there?
Well,
I was far right.
Yeah, and so that was a big POW day.
Yeah,
Like, the
oh
day
no, I
before
remember
was
that
huge.
day. I was
It was like a
sending the
2-foot
backside
POW day,
after
and
that.
it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and
Southside was
Summit
sick.
had been closed. So
I
it
came
was
back
open.
around. I was at Northwest, come back around, and that kid was coming up the chair, and I look over and ski patrol grabs him.
Yep.
It was probably the second run through.
Okay, so he did get
And
grabbed.
he did. He
eventually.
definitely
All
got
right.
grabbed at the second run through, and yeah, it was. It's not. It's.
I felt sorry for that guy after he got
it's
kicked
a
off.
rough little world. But you do stupid shit on the mountain. You win stupid prizes.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, man. Yeah.
Yep. I don't play
rough.
stupid games
But
anymore.
the Braveheart starts are one of the best things on Bachelor. When
was.
They were. And
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's one of those feelings where the adrenaline starts rolling through your body, and you look at the guys coming down, and you're like, "Oh, it's about to start.
It's about to
You have
go.
about 2 minutes."
You're watching the lifties
Yeah.
look at their
Yeah.
They're
clocks.
looking at their clocks. They're looking on the
They're
video.
trying not to look at you.
They're
They're
lowering
trying not
your
to make eye
level.
contact.
You're watching ski patrol come down. You're like, they're about to give the word. They're about to give the
go,
word.
let's
Let's go.
That's awesome.
And it is a voyage to the top. It is, and the struggle is real.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
not an easy run up that hill.
No,
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
it's not easy
The
to get
first chair
at
thing,
Bachelor.
first chair thing is totally new for me because I'm a mom and people be like, "Oh, powder day," and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll be at home making some hot cocoa and drying some mittens." But not this year. This year I'm like 120 days. Yeah.
They definitely got a little more on top of the Braveheart starts after that
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
though.
yeah,
I mean,
for
one
sure.
stupid person can,
Well, yeah, the way
Yeah.
he was wild.
yeah.
He was
happens.
flipping his tail all. He took out 4 people on the way up. Is what I heard.
That's a rough little world.
I didn't see that
Yeah,
part.
you were too far ahead of him. You know?
I was around the corner,
Right.
The
I think I
emotions
dipped the
got
ski
the
patrol
best of
line.
them.
right around there.
So with Gabe here, what day did you have the best backside run?
My best backside run was probably somewhere in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of the weekend days
Right.
and kind of weekend warrior this year a little bit, but
sure.
for the most part, I didn't have one bad day. No, like
not
every
at
day.
all.
No,
So good.
everybody's
And actually,
good.
I never really got caught up with the lift line because the way I work that shit is if we're together and I skip up one, then we do math
Oh, yeah, dude.
all
Yeah.
the way through the lift line. And
Exactly.
then
Yeah.
it was work
Yeah,
it.
quad up. Quad up is a real thing. Either
Oh, hey,
quad up or
you guys got
singles
3?
line, you
I'll
know?
hop up with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll ride with you. Oh, you want me to?
I've
Yeah.
skipped so many lines.
Oh,
Like,
I know.
And
Excuse
also-
me. Excuse me.
Right?
Yeah.
Hi, you're gonna be my new best friend.
Yeah,
And they're
hi,
like,
nice to meet you.
"How are
just-
you?"
yeah.
And I'm
Speed
like,
dating.
Oh, there's another 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
You know, so talk about fast tracks too.
Fast track.
Disneyland.
Yeah, you know.
I like
They're
it,
paying
just
for
saying.
it. Yeah.
But I'm a capitalist, so hey, there's that.
I kind of, if it's really good, I might drop the cash. I don't know.
You get 4 with your pass. You get
I
4
have not done
discounted
it
ones
yet,
with your
though.
pass.
Well, and let's not skip the there's 2 people. Well, 3. Josh, I don't think had it.
Working on
So
it,
2
dude.
people
Still.
here that had wonderful fast tracks towards
yeah,
the
if
middle
you're a
of the
pro,
season.
if you're a
And-
pro,
yeah.
you get fast tracks, right?
Both
The most-
Hannah and Jamie here were
the most
athletes
jealous
for the
thing you
mountain
could
this
ever have.
season, and
Yes.
being an athlete comes with free fast pass all season.
Yeah.
They have to role model good skiing.
Well,
Rumor has it.
comes with a price though. Like Jamie got heckled by
Oh,
some
man.
terrible children.
Oh man.
It's a good time
if you
for
guys
teaching
have
now.
if you guys have never been made fun of by a child, it's way more intense than being
He
made
might
fun
have
of
been
by an
like
adult.
7
Oh,
years
yeah.
old. He was definitely like.
You can't just cuss
up
him
to my
out as a
belly
response,
button.
you know?
Well, he told Jamie that he could smell her farts. That's being insulted by a
He called me
child.
a fart sucker.
Okay, but
This
this is
7-year-old kid in the red chair line at 8 a.m. on a Saturday called me a fart sucker because I used my fast tracks to skip the line because I had an hour to ski.
okay, but this is a good story though, right? So the kid started out kind of heckling you.
Yeah, so the kid started heckling me. He was wearing it was one of the comp Saturdays. They had he was wearing a USASA jersey. And
No
at
offense
first,
to USAS. Oh, Sasa.
no offense at all. Like I used to compete, I get it. But yeah, so I skipped through the line, and I'm pretty sure there was one other athlete that was using the line with me, and he called me out. He started calling me a fart sucker. He's like, "Hey, why are you using fast tracks? And I just started like playing along with him. And I'm like, yeah, well, why don't you go buy one? He's like, I can't. I'm like, oh yeah, why don't you have your mom go buy one for you? And then I was like, wait, no, I can't do this. I'm a figure of the mountain. Like, I'm supposed to be on my best behavior. This is not good.
I'm supposed to be a role model
supposed
here.
to be a role model. So I just turned back and I look at him and I'm like, hey man, you're representing your team right now. I'd stop harassing me in the lift line if I were you. Got on the chairlift. I was waiting up at the top. I think I was waiting for Hannah actually. And he comes up off the lift after me and he comes up and he's like, hey, I'm really sorry. I was really mean in the lift line and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I really respected that. I'm like, man, like, I get it. Like, I don't necessarily agree with the fast tracks. I don't think Mt Bachelor needs it. We're not like that big of a resort. But it was given to me. I'm going to use it. Honestly, on a powder day, it's not like that bad of an idea. With an outplay pass,
Dude,
you
it's
get half
amazing.
off on it. If you want to skip the line, like get a
Yeah.
few extra laps, whatever. But I was like, you know, like I used to race and I just don't think it was very nice of you to be harassing someone in the lift line while you're trying to represent your team. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, yeah, I'm so sorry. And he asked me like where I got my fast tracks from. And I just told him I was on the athlete program this year. And he's like, oh my God, that was so cool. And like went over and told his little friends about it. And they were all like staring at me. And I'm just like, okay, well, be good. Like, be nice. Stop harassing people in the line.
So it's cool because his response, and he totally had a good experience.
Yeah,
he
he
learned
came
like,
up and
oh,
said
people
sorry
know
to
who
me.
I am, and people who that was my
experience, yeah.
phone, by the way. That rang. People know who I am, and I am like actually people can see what I'm doing, and I need to kind of be conscientious about what I'm putting out there in the world.
Well, even just for
And,
him too.
and he
like,
learned it too, right?
Yeah.
Because the first initial response, I couldn't believe this. The initial response to Fast Pass was like, or Tracks or whatever it's called,
was
was like,
snowballs.
we should get a petition signed. It's like, what do you think this is? It's an entertainment, dude.
Yeah.
Mount Bachelor is an amusement park. So they have Fast Pass at Disneyland. It's the
like-
same thing. It's a business.
I mean, in my experience, 99% of the people I've seen in a fast tracks lane, it's not like, I mean, every once in a while, you know, you get someone like on a powder day who's hot lapping fast tracks and they paid for it, and like, that's fine. But like, you know,
Cool,
that's like
good.
5 people that get ahead of you. Like, I still know plenty of lines on the mountain that I can go and ski where I'm still going to get first tracks. But like,
Yeah.
most of the time when I saw fast tracks, it was like during the holidays, and it was a family of 4 who just paid probably like multiple thousands of dollars to take their family on the one ski vacation a year, and their kids are already miserable. They're probably going to get 3 laps on the fast tracks, and I guarantee they're not taking my backside laps, right? Like, they want their kids to have a fun experience, drink some hot cocoa in the lodge and call it a day. Like, yeah, fuck it, let them use a
Yeah.
fast
They were
track.
running 12 anyway.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
My thing with the fast tracks too is like again the families that are coming for the holidays and they're getting booed by the locals. Like this
Yeah.
family's gonna go back and they're just gonna they're gonna talk about how they got treated in the lift line with that.
Yeah.
And that just I don't know,
That's
that
not
doesn't sit
good.
right in my stomach.
No.
I don't wanna be that person, I don't wanna be that local.
Yeah.
I don't want that reputation for my mountain.
No, we got to
doubt.
look better than that. We're better than that.
Okay,
for
so we're
sure.
gonna bring it back to the summit line.
Yeah.
And so this year was amazing season. Like,
Oh my
for
God.
the amount of
gosh.
snow that we ended up with consistency and the wind blowing out of the southeast filled the backside.
It was
an
different this
incredible
year, dude.
amount.
Yeah.
There was the lack of chicken heads at
Yeah.
the first top
Yeah.
100 was immaculate. I have never, in Bachelor in the 11 years I've been here,
true.
have had from true top
Yeah.
immaculate
top.
terms.
Between chicken
down.
heads and rye mice.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
We
It
had
was
like soft chicken
none.
heads this year.
Yeah, we
Like one
can't
of the
talk about
first-
Summit
Super
without
soft.
talking about the extremely unique conditions that we got on whatever you want to call them, snow monsters, dongles, whatever, the big laid over rye miced trees.
Right? For
Yeah.
sure.
Snow ghosts.
The fact that this season we had multiple days that you could ride those like hits that I mean everything we're talking about, the pinnacles were that way, the trees were that way, like the entire mountain turned into a giant
Incredible.
like natural park
Oh, yeah.
playground out
Yeah,
there.
Hannah's talking about. I saw you jumping off of those. You were hitting the trees, right?
Yeah, I mean
Amazing.
Like literally jumping off the trees.
Yeah.
you
frozen
couldn't
trees.
not take
Riding
advantage
off
of
the
that.
top.
Like
That was
in
so
past,
fun.
I mean, in past seasons, those are death traps. You know, you hit those, you're knocked out cold. Like you don't, nobody would
I
think
mean,
about hitting.
I did
those.
have experience hitting trees this season.
Talk about hitting stuff. I think we've all had some
Yeah.
interesting collisions this season.
Right?
Most
But
of
no,
us.
I mean, yeah, all time. Like, best backside conditions I've ever seen in my life.
And then
And was
all
that
season
today?
Even
May 10th?
No, today I was on the cone at like 6:45 in the morning, and it was not great conditions.
Right.
Yesterday. Who
Yesterday,
rode
that's
yesterday.
right.
Yesterday
Yeah.
was a great day up on
It
Summit
was.
too.
Ray, what is your favorite run at Mt Bachelor? That's what I want to know.
My favorite.
I've seen some of them on video,
that's
but
a
I want
rough
to know,
one.
like, before the camera
I'm
comes
intrigued.
out, like, where are you going?
Oh man, it depends on where you're at in life. I had a wonderful, wonderful time this year riding Pine. Like
Pine?
usually
Straight
I'd start over past years I'd start at Skyliner, but got really involved in Pine this year. Incredible runs, coffee, tippy toe. The way the snow came in this year was incredible. Coming in from the southeast, it would fill so much of the left-hand sides, and and I'm goofy, which is an amazing riding style, by the way.
When I'm on a board, I'm goofy too.
And so tippy toe, but then as the mountain progresses and you open up to Outback Northwest, it gets even more impressive. And sneaking around, everybody tends to try to get that lift line on Outback, and if you sneak around, you can come to
Or like Zimmerman's?
incredible.
Is
Is it Zimmerman's
Over
or
there.
even
like,
what's the trees? Pecker Woods.
Pecker
Yeah.
Woods.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh,
dude,
man, the Pecker Woods are so
knee
fun.
deep
And then
Pecker Woods
swoop
is
back.
incredible. Yep, and then swoop back, or you can go down into Outback and then ride it back up, and then start
right
fishing
on the corner of
outside.
Trees of Doom.
And some incredible trees to do. Is some of the best snow that this year I've probably had on the runs.
And you were talking about it coming in. It did come in from a different direction a lot this year.
A lot.
Very different.
We didn't start getting northwest snow until March. Late.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning of March, I think. And so it definitely set up different this year. There was a lot of hits that didn't set up this year. There are a lot of cornices that didn't set up this year.
Yep.
And then there were new ones that were just bizarre.
Incredible.
Yeah.
There was that big cornice right underneath Pine.
Yeah.
That set up the big
They
wall.
had to take it out with
And
the
yeah.
cat.
Right. It
Oh,
was just
yeah.
so
Oh my
much
God, that thing
fun.
was wild.
That thing was
Yeah,
wild to
Bachelor's
ride.
kind of an interesting mountain because it's ridges, right? It's a volcano, it's
Yeah.
ridges.
Right,
and so
right.
we have aspect. So if it's bad on one side of the run, you can ride the
Get
other
on the
side of the
other.
run.
Yeah.
That's why it's a good snowboarder mountain, right?
Yeah, it's a very
like-
friendly snowboarder mountain.
I think this is the most I've ever seen them actually have to bomb the toilet bowl off Summit. Like,
Right.
there's years where they never even
Yeah.
drop a bomb in there, and this year I saw slabs in there constantly.
Yeah.
Like,
Huge slabs, too.
yeah,
Like big.
huge slabs.
And then there's so many wonderful runs on Bachelor that you just kind of systematically pick and choose.
Yep.
And once Northwest opens, boy, everybody goes out to the bowls, and if you take a left, you're about to get a
I
treat.
know what
baby.
you've been doing now.
I know where you're at.
Yeah, staying
his
tight.
You
secrets.
get treats that
Yep.
Devil's Backbone, and you start going over towards
A little closer to Snapshot.
a little
and-
closer to
yeah.
Snapshot, and then it gets tricky in there because if we don't get enough snow, you'll pay the cost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But this year it was definitely fun. There was a lot of fill-in that because of the way the snow came in was incredible riding.
Gabe, what's your favorite?
Well, South Side for sure. I mean, I've been years of hitting that, same kind of direction. There's always that jump I'm really trying to refine.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, I'm like,
You mean that one that's in the spot
Isn't
that has that
is
like
one
flow to
around
it?
that
Yeah.
corner over here. Yeah, you're just like, oh, there it is.
Right?
Stumble upon it. I've only hit it once.
I'm always going like, I can't
You
believe.
come out right under it. You're like, damn it, again.
Again, I missed it again. It was right there.
And there's some incredible riding under Red Chair.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was the way that Red Chair has, it's just this little bowl that tends to
Yeah.
fill in
Yeah.
really deep.
That's Bill's chair.
Yeah, for
That was
sure.
the heart and the money of the whole mountain.
It's
right
an
there.
amazing run.
The red
What's
chair.
what's
You
your
know-
favorite run, Ski Mom?
Probably Grotto.
That's good area.
Yeah, probably Grotto. I like it, but I like to hit it kind of when you're coming off. You come off under Piney and you drop not on Thunderbird and not over on West Boundary, but right in the middle
Stay
there,
right in the
and you
middle.
kind of snake through there and then drop down right at the very top of Grotto. Say a little Hail Mary and keep on trucking. Maybe ride the ridge there and show off for Thunderbird a little bit. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Gotta
for
get the hoots
Piney,
from the chairlift,
You can
yeah.
say if anybody yells at you. I love that.
Usually us yelling at
Yeah, I
you.
love that.
There's nothing better than that feeling. When
That's the
they're
best.
like,
That's why when
your
I'm
friends
on the
are
chair.
screaming.
Yeah.
When I'm on the chair, I'm like, you look at all the skiers, you know they're so stoked. And riders, you're like, that guy feels stoked. That guy feels stoked. So you just hoot and holler at them,
Right,
and that's like the
for
best
sure.
thing ever.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite run, Josh?
Yeah.
Oh, God, like Ray said, there's so many good runs, and like, there's so many aspects that I love and places that I love to hunt down. Like, I love playing in the East Bowls off the South Side, but like, if I'm gotta go with like a favorite run, like just almost from a nostalgia standpoint too, just growing up here, like on a good powder day, if I can be like one of the first ones up Skyliner chairlift, coming down, dropping the Sky Cornice, and then cutting over towards Old Skyliner and just dropping between there and Carnival. And then if you can get like that first section cut left around and hit that one little downhill aspect that goes back towards Carnival, if I can get like first or second tracks down that any day of the week, that's like that's the best run of the day. Right?
Yeah.
I absolutely love that one. I've been skiing that since I was like, old enough to go into the trees, and like absolutely love that run every time. It's probably my first run. Like if I get up there by myself and no one else is up yet, or everyone else is at a different parking lot, like I'll meet up with the guys in a run or two. I'm gonna go ski that real quick, like every fucking time.
And then Hannah, what is your favorite spot?
Oh man, if Summit's open, who doesn't love backside? That's what we're talking about. But maybe like 4 or 5 bowls over, traverse, like not quite to Wall of Voodoo. Although I do love Wall of Voodoo, which was huge this year, by the way.
Massive.
Wall of Voodoo got so big.
You could ride it off the top.
But if
Off the top of it.
it was really cool with different ways you could interact with Wall of Voodoo this year. But if Summit's not open, man, the jump line under Sky. You go take, like, you're gonna go into the park, but stay on the ridge, riders right of that. We got rainy days, we got hole jump, we got wall jump, Wu-Tang, whatever. I've heard that one called a million things.
Yeah.
But,
Wu-Tang.
yeah.
That's
I
great
actually,
jump line
I'm
in
pretty
there.
sure the elders would call it wall jump.
Wall jump for
The
sure.
elders
Yep.
would, but
I've heard it both ways, and I had some guy call me out for calling it Wu-Tang. And he's like, "Well, if you're really
Wu-Tang
from
was,
Bend," I was like, "Well, I'm
that's
from
like my
Bend."
era. We
Yeah,
call it
right?
Wu-Tang. If you want to do a backflip, you go to Wu-Tang.
Well, and he was only like 2 years older than me. He's
Yeah.
like, "No, if you're from here, it's wall jump." I'm like,
It-
"But dog, I'm from here, and I call it Wu-Tang." So,
Yeah, I heard. God, who was it? Peter Butch. He called it the wall. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
I gotta
Nice.
say though, I spent a lot of time hiking the jump under the JRC building this
Oh,
year
yeah?
too.
Yeah.
And then
Nice.
Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, what's your
favorite
favorite run?
Ooh, if Summit's open, Bevs. Just love a good Beverly Hills lift line.
yeah.
Hollering down.
Coming from that racing background too, especially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most definitely. Or like just skiers left of Thunderburn on that little ridge where the snake run is right now. Like that's always just a very solid ridge on a powder day. Like it's overlooked so often. Just to
Yeah.
come down it and you're like, get the lift line.
Yeah.
The lift line
It's
moves.
consistent. You're up high.
And then you like bump into the trees and go down to Red Chair back to Pine.
Nice.
I love that line.
Nice.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, we're going to
I
take a chance.